Hello.
Hi, Anna, you're right.
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good. We've got like a super group of women up next, haven't we?
Oh,
Yeah, it's going to be like that, isn't it?
my t-shirt. My t-shirt says "Empowered women, empower women." I've got my t-shirt on, especially for Emma Turner and the Women Ed girls.
They've been awesome today, haven't they?
They have been fab. They've been fab.
Oh, good. So, you've got a little PowerPoint coming up now. We showed a PowerPoint earlier, and part of it was cut off, so we will share it again. This PowerPoint later. But we're still hear your lovely voices, and that's the main thing. Yeah? Is it Bukky and Kiran that you've done it with? Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why we pre-recorded it, because there's three of us. We just thought it'd get too confusing trying to coordinate diaries. So we've pre-recorded, but if it doesn't work, then I'll just do a winging it one.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's going to work. It's been working today.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
It's going to work. It is.
Oh, look at all the lovely people saying hi. Hi, Emma. Hi, Helen. Hi, Kiran.
You're going to have to stop. You're gonna have to stop talking in a minute, Hannah, while we do your presentation.
Right. I will. Okay, I'll be quiet.
Oh no, wrong one. That's Mouse. That was the wrong one, wasn't it? Oh.
Too much cider, Graham. Too much cider.
That was the wrong one, wasn't it? Sorry. It's because I was getting all confused talking to you. Was it a PowerPoint or was it a video?
PowerPoint. Values in a crisis. It's got a lighthouse on it.
Let me see if I can find it.
If not, I can screen share it.
Oh, yeah.
Should I share screen and do it that way? Am I freestyling? I can't work out how to share my screen. Help, Ed. If I did Graham, help! Where's the wingman gone?
Oh, wow. Oh, I think I broke the internet.
Do you want me to share screen? Do we need to share from my desktop?
No, I've got it, I think.
I got it, okay.
Yeah. Oh. Here we go. From beginning. Could you hear it?
I can hear it, but I can't see it.
Okay, sorry. That's because I haven't shared screen. Of course, the internet going down is maybe all like funny now.
Yeah, it's definitely the internet and not your cider, definitely.
I don't know about that.
Hi, this is Hannah Wilson, ethical leader, on a presentation about values in a crisis with guest appearances from Kiran Sati and Bukky. Whenever I think and talk about values, I always reference back to the metaphor of our values being our compass. They are our North Star. They help us guide ourselves on journeys and make sure we are heading in the direction and the destiny that we have. I also believe that our anchors ground us, they anchor us. Whether you think of your values being your roots as a tree or our anchors in the sea, I really think they help us bring that stability and security and safety, particularly when the waters get a bit stormy, as they are now. Staying with the nautical theme for a little bit longer, I can remember when I first met Jill Bellion listening to her speak at an event about leadership, and she quoted somebody who had made this reference about the fact that ships aren't built to stay in the harbour, they're built to sail. And I really think that's true of our values. We might believe we have strong values and our core values are very present in our day-to-day existences, but until they're challenged, we don't really know how strong they are. So when we find ourselves as the eye of a storm, as I did a couple of years ago, that is when values are really tested. And it was a really interesting experience for myself and our team to go on when we had the BBC camp outside school, and we were in all the national tabloids because we believe passionately in our school about diversity. We had a diverse menu and food service, and it affronted a couple of our more parents, shall we say, and they challenged what we were doing, didn't get the answer they wanted, so we got dragged through the tabloids. I think they thought they were going to break us. I think they thought they were going to break me. The irony was it actually made us stronger. It made our values even more powerful within the community. So reflecting on how all the haters came out of the tabloids, I had so many horrific comments about me on Facebook. I had 80 hand-penned letters calling me everything under the sun from random people as far away as Doncaster. I wrote a blog. I was advised just to leave it and let it be, and I was like, no, I'm not going to let it be. So I sat down and got all my thoughts and feelings out in a blog, and I wrote a blog called The Trolls Under the Bridge, Leadership Resilience, and how our values are actually our source of strength when we hit those troubled waters. The blog went viral. I think it had 14,000 hits. My blogs normally get about 40 hits, and it ended up being nominated for the Schools Week Blog of the Year by the reviewers that year. So there's just some links on here if you're interested in reading the original blog, or you're interested in reading the review of the blog by Jill Berry herself. So then, fast forward a few years, we now find ourselves in a pandemic where, again, I believe our values are what are going to really hold us together as individuals, as communities, and keep us strong during this bizarre time. So doing blogs regularly, I was then asked to write a piece in Schools Week recently. So you can see a piece there called Now More Than Ever, What We Need in Our Schools Are Values. So if we think about tests that are thrown at us in our personal and professional lives, I definitely think the coronavirus is a test that has been thrown at the world, it's been thrown at humans, just to see how we respond. And is it a test that's going to break us, or is it a test that's going to become a lesson that we can learn from? So when the pandemic first kind of hit and we were talking about going into lockdown, and since we've been in lockdown, I've really been thinking about, like, what are the values we are drawing on right now? What are the values that we've needed to nurture because perhaps they're values we don't use so often? So which values have served us and been a resource during the pandemic? I've also reflected a lot on what are the leadership values that we need to see, and which leaders are modelling and emulating and embodying those values. And I'm just absolutely in love with this woman. I don't get very many professional crushes, but if I could vote for someone to be our world leader, it would be Jacinda Ardern. I just think she is everything that we need in a country leader, in a world leader. And I just think that she is leading the way and showing how to be a humane, values-led leader. So as I said earlier on, I definitely think that this is a lesson for us. When your values are strong and when your values reference and frame all decision-making, choices, behaviours and actions, I actually think it's easier to make those decisions and know what the right thing to do is, because that strong sense of core values actually are what guides us and pushes us in the right direction. I also think that our values can become our not only our source of strength, but also our protective shield. I definitely felt empowered by my values when I was having all that negativity a couple of years back. I really felt like, actually, no, I know who I am as a person, as a leader. I know who our school and our team is. And when I had year sevens walking into the school gate saying to me, Miss Wilson, they're not modelling the value of kindness, are they, in the press? It just made me sort of like smile, actually, that if 12-year-olds, 11-year-olds can talk about values and know what's right from wrong, then there's no excuse for adults not doing the same. This takes me to why I set up the daily writing challenge as we went into lockdown. Leaving school leadership, leaving being a teacher after 18 years was quite destabilising for me. I've been working at university since September, so for the last 7 months I've been transitioning out of quite a institutionalised approach to my day-to-day existence, and it's been quite odd just sitting and watching everything that's going on in the education system, in schools, speaking to lots of friends and colleagues, people who I love dearly, being extremely anxious and stressed about everything that's being thrown at them within schools. And I definitely felt a massive sense of guilt, like that I'm trained to be there on the front line, and I'm not. I'm not doing what I'm trained to do. I'm not serving others, which is what I'm used to doing. So I wrapped my brain around what could I do? What things could I offer from home, from outside of the school building to support others? And I came up with two ideas. One was to launch a series of peer support circles. So I've got 30 women who I meet 6 times a week in 6 small groups to do peer support coaching. And then I thought, actually, what helps me get through crises is to write and to reflect and to blog. So I just put out a tweet saying, I'm going to start a daily writing challenge. I'm going to put a value out each day. Who would like to join us? And as with many things, it's just been a bit of a tidal wave. So it's been very exciting to connect with 70 plus writers who now follow the blog and contribute and read and comment each day. So here are the 30 themes, values-based themes, that I've put out for the first 30 days. I thought to mention the kind of the rainbows of hope. That's why I've done the colour scheme here. I really think that each of these blogs has been just a little ray of sunshine, a rainbow of hope in quite a bleak few weeks. So they're not all values, but they're all values-based themes. And you can click on any of the hyperlinks on the BBE website, and it will give you the whole collection of blogs there to have a little read through. So I'm now going to hand over to 2 of our daily writing challenge bloggers, my dear friends, Kiran and Bukky, who I met through Twitter and WomanEd many, many years ago now. Over to you, girls.
Kindness, a simple word, but its power, I say quiet power, is unlimited. I'm going to start with the story of the old man, because it sort of weaves into what I'd written for the daily writing challenge for the kindness blog. So the old man, he's homeless in this story, and throughout the story you follow his journey from the soup kitchen to the bus to the bench, and then the story stops. Quiet footsteps, and this is how I would imagine the story if it was a moving scene. Quiet footsteps are approaching the old man where he sits, and then they stop, and then a little girl offers him a sandwich. And it's the best tasting sandwich he's ever had, and I think we can all infer why it would be the best sandwich he's ever had. That the power of this story is about how noticing is a small but powerful type of kindness, and I love this story, and I love reading it to the children in my class as well, because they always get it. And when I'd written my blog for the daily writing challenge, I'd written about an old man too. So there's an old man that I'd normally see every day on my journey to work. Around about 6:15 in the morning, I'd see him sort of walk down the road, and then once the coronavirus had started, I hadn't seen him in a while. It was probably a week, and I thought, oh, goodness, okay, hope he's okay. And then I made a wish, which sounds a bit bizarre because I didn't know the old man, but I made a wish hoping that he would stay safe and he's well. And then a couple of weeks later, as I'm journeying to, well, not to work, but to the hub school, oh my goodness, I see the old man. And I think it was a case of, he doesn't know who I am, but it's a case of noticing, isn't it? So coming back to the blog, that was my theme within the theme, noticing. Kindness, a simple word, but its power, I say quiet power, is unlimited. I think it's quiet and it's very subtle, and sometimes I think it's forgotten as well. At the moment, I think we'd all agree there's a stillness, there's space, and hopefully I'm hoping this sanctuary for a lot of us as well, whilst this, I want to say, rejuvenation or healing of the earth is happening. But noticing it should feel louder because we've got the space and the time to be able to do it rather than have all the busyness around us. The part of what I'd written for the blog, I'm just going to read out to you because I think it sort of summarises the point of the theme. Kindness has taken the form of just noticing this week. So when I'd written it, there was just lots of little things that were happening around school, with staff and with children. And it's like, I don't know, it's almost like you're filling up your cup, aren't you, in some ways with it when you notice it, because it makes you feel better about everything else that's happening. the noticing and acknowledging kindness, noticing absence, hoping for their presence, noticing the little things. And I think it is the little things. Noticing is a little thing, but when you put all of those small kindnesses together, it makes a difference. And I think I've always been a bit worried about the selfishness that a lot of humans can display. And sometimes there's that realization it's probably easier to be selfish than selfless. And selflessness does seem to be rare when I'd written this, but I have to say, I don't know, since all of this is happening, for me, kindness is definitely palpable, and it isn't necessarily a rare or exceptional thing anymore. And it shouldn't be, and it never should have been that anyway. And I think if we keep practicing small kindnesses, hopefully the world will be, it's going to be different anyway, but hopefully a lot more kinder as well. I think it's okay. So coming back to the idea of values, I think kindness has always been a value of mine, and I hope it's something that you'd always see in me if you were to meet me or to know me. I'm just going to finish off with what I'd written because I think it sort of sums up the reasoning behind the theme and it being the first one. Small kindnesses magnify what it means to be human, and noticing kindness and noticing each other magnifies the worth and the value of each life. We are all worthy of kindness, but we should also bestow that knowing everyone is worthy of kindness. And life is short, which I think this virus is teaching us a little too harshly at times, maybe. But it's a case of don't let kindness pass you by, the gift and the capacity for kindness. And noticing, I think, might be one of those underrated facets of kindness, but I just hope after this, we all notice a lot more and we can appreciate a lot more and therefore be kind and kinder to each other. Over to you, Bukky. Okay, so
one of the blogs that I have written as part of the daily writing challenge was on the theme of family. I frequently mention my collective nearest and dearest. However, what made this particular blog different is the mention of educators that I refer to as my Twitter family and the impact of their actions upon me. I know how strange it must sound to talk of meaningful connections through social media. However, this is what I have repeatedly experienced. When I first joined Twitter in November 2013, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. And it felt as though I was just talking to myself because many of my tweets and my queries went unanswered. It all changed 6 months later when I responded to someone's tweeted request about help with some science revision materials. Once I learned how it worked and how it actually resonated with the way in which I operate, I was hooked. And I got engaged with so many different projects and initiatives like Teacher 5 a Day, BAME Ed, Women Ed, etc. as the years went on. When I think back over the years, I will admit to how astounded I am at how much my professional and personal life has changed through my experiences with Twitter. Engaging with educators on Twitter has been the most transformative professional development experience I have ever encountered. And beyond that, I have met individuals, met in a virtual sense and also in real life later on, who have supported me and aided my well-being. This definition of family is one that I deliberately shared because of the fact that it refers to people who are related by birth or affinity, and how the purpose of families is to maintain the well-being of its members. And this is something that I have definitely experienced and have also tried to give back to. When I first joined, my Twitter family know who they are. And over the years, they have helped me to maintain my well-being in a variety of ways, which includes 6 p.m. phone calls, Monday to Friday. My Twitter family know who they are. And over the years, they have helped me to maintain my well-being in a variety of ways, which includes 6 p.m. phone calls, Monday to Friday, as a reminder for me to go home. Photos of nature being generously shared on my timeline. My involvement with Teacher 5 a Day, which has encouraged me to connect, exercise, learn, notice, and volunteer. Unexpected gifts in the post, including Ramadan advent calendars full of well-received chocolate pieces, and chemistry textbooks that were sent to me as part of a Twitter request. Their heartfelt, random, and spontaneous acts of kindness, support, and generosity has helped to make Twitter a platform where I can draw my strength, feel home, and be authentic, particularly during this pandemic lockdown, where it's not always possible to spend time with anyone that's not living within our homes. It's one of the reasons why I hope that educators who are new to Twitter can also find others that they can refer to as their Twitter family. As I said, it's a transformative experience.
So thank you very much for listening to our presentation. Thank you to Kiran and Bukky for contributing. Thank you to everybody who has been writing for the Daily Writing Challenge and also supporting, retweeting, commenting. One massive thank you goes out to the lovely Sue Webb. She's one of my friends from Values-Based Education. Dr. Neil Hawkes, one of the founders, is there in the photo too. Sue's done an amazing job of collating all of the blogs and referencing them all on the BBE website. If you go onto their website, look at the Daily Writing Challenge, you can see there's like 250 blogs there. Take care, be safe, stay well.
Oh,
Thank you for all the clicking, Graham. Sorry, coordinating 3 lots of audio was quite complex at our end.
yeah, I can imagine, but thank you very much for doing that, you know.
Pleasure. It's very odd hearing your voice. Sitting and listening to yourself is very odd.
Oh, thank you. Do you know, it's lovely. Again, that theme there, Kiran saying about kindness and how at the start of all this, she thought there wasn't very much empathy and kindness, but actually what she's seen since the pandemic is that it is there, that we are seeing this kindness, which again, I think is brilliant, especially from, you know, Twitter educators. And of course, Bukky saying about Twitter and the impact it's had on her and about her Twitter family. And I totally agree with her. This is the reason why I'm doing things like this, because Twitter, to me, the people on Twitter are like a family, because I can't see my family at the moment. Mum's not well. It's brilliant. So I really thank them for that. And thank you too, Hannah, for collating and getting those girls together for me.
My absolute pleasure. And I think by just choosing one value to spotlight each day, it really makes you notice and appreciate and zoom in. And it's so interesting when you have 15 contrasting perspectives on one idea.
Yeah.
So like, for example, empathy or compassion, you think that everyone will have quite a commonality in their perspective, but the blogs are so enlightening, looking at the different insights and experiences that people bring.
Yeah, thank you for the writing challenge too. It's brilliant. Thank you, Hannah.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for today. I'll see you in the pub later.
Take care, and thanks very much for your help. You've been really supportive.